Hey everyone, welcome back to the cave and thank you so much for joining us as always. Today we're going to be continuing my Young Justice reviews and talking about Season 2, so I'm going to have to make the beginning of this video pretty boring and kinda unengaging. But it'll be really good at some point, I promise.
I couldn't be boring if I tried, what am I saying? Young Justice Season 2 began airing on April 28th, 2012. But if you're here from the future for a totally crash and not existentially horrifying reason and trying to catch up, then you may want to go back and check out my review of Season 1 first. Not just because it's a not bad video, but because Young Justice has a very odd relationship with itself. For me, Season 1 is the epitome of what I like DC animated shows to be. A strong overarching plot, but episodic enough that you can skip the Atlantis episode. But Season 2 is a land of very high highs and very low lows. It's like if a casino had any downsides whatsoever.
But I think that's enough mission briefing, so we're just going to get into it. And to show you all that I didn't forget my promise from last week...
Welcome back.
There are going to be some spoilers, by the way. It came out during the Roosevelt administration, so...
In an incredibly fitting way, Season 2 starts off with something really cool, and a pretty questionable decision. The Justice League is convening after their battle with Vandal Savage and the Light. In their state of mind control, they were sent off-planet for 16 hours that they cannot account for, horrified by the implication of what they could have done.
16 hours. What did we do?
Probably like kiss each other a bit. I love when a piece of storytelling can use something that really only works in their genre, and this intergalactic mystery is exactly that. It also raises the stakes for the season since most of the League goes off-world almost immediately, basically leaving the team home alone. Okay, cool. I made a Christmas video. And just in time. As for the questionable decision, actually, you know what? I should get to that part later. Maybe in like 5 years. The time skip between seasons 1 and 2 is just unreasonably long, and immediately makes me not like this season, and I can hold a grudge. On the one hand, I do like where most of our returning characters are at in their lives when we see them again, but on the other, it makes the Justice League just seem so fucking stupid. With a team composed of geniuses, spacefaring warriors, and the world's greatest detective, there is no reason why it should take them 5 years to find out that they are wanted for intergalactic war crimes. It's pretty difficult for my suspension of disbelief to be broken in an animated superhero show, but making the Justice League this incompetent sure will do it.
But like I said, the time skip also leaves our characters in some pretty interesting places, so we're going to wait a bit on that and cover them first. Granted, I'm not going to make you wait like 5 years, but you know.
We're gonna return with everyone's favorite boy wonder backside Nightwing, because despite him being the new leader of the team, I have so little to say about him. He's in practically every episode, but honestly has barely anything memorable to do. He's basically the show's equivalent of an NPC you go to for quests in a video game. He is in the best storyline of the season, but all he really does is give them an item to use. Like some sort of merchant in some sort of video game.
But honestly, this is the harshest I can be on this season, because, guys, I just love it so fucking much.
Young Justice Season 2 feels like anime, a mysterious black mold, and borderline abusive women. Cause man, this has grown on me, and I honestly couldn't imagine my life without it now. Young Justice Invasion used to be one of my biggest disappointments in all of comic book media. They took my self-contained one-season beautiful little baby, force grew him like a Cadmus clone, and shoved all this crap in him. Like a Cadmus clone.
But that was when I was a Young Justice fan trying to watch a DC show. Now I am a massive DC fan, and I love this quintessential piece of TV so much.
Invasion now feels like watching a DC event too good to ever be printed. I mean, not that I would ever read it. Universe-wide, franchise, and world-altering sagas are just not my thing. I like good stories that don't take more effort to read than finding the One Piece. While Season 1 was a really good and big enough story about the team, Invasion's really changed what Young Justice could be. Bringing together the team, the Justice League, the Light, Marvel's The Runaways, and the Reach really shouldn't be as fantastic as it is, but damn. How Invasion actually makes this incredibly wide saga still feel intimate and character-driven is through some of the most interesting and mature writing I've seen from any DC animated series.
I promise we are gonna get into the characters now. I am sorry for leading you astray once more.
M'gann was already one of my favorite members of the team, with her being an extremely capable but sweet, caring fish out of water, and now she's a war criminal. Miss Martian is still one of the most powerful psychics in this universe when she's, having morals. But if the rules of engagement are a concern, M'gann is really scary. And very shockingly, since Miss Martian has begun to use her powers to involuntarily psychically obliterate people, her and Superboy broke up, and he's joined the Sassy Man Brigade.
So now we're never talking again?
Gee, you read my mind.
I don't have to read your mind to know how you feel, Connor.
He's not my favorite member of the team this season, but considering how much I love his and M'gann's relationship in Season 1, they must make this breakup really compelling for me to like it, and yeah, it is. Not just that, but Superboy and Miss Martian's voice actors, Nolan North and Danica McKellar respectively, give these lines a lot of sensitivity.
I was hoping I mattered enough to you to make you stop. I didn't think you'd try to tamper with my mind. Try to make me forget I was upset with you.
Connor, I'm so sorry about that.
After all we'd been through, how could you think I wouldn't recognize your touch inside my mind? Didn't you know what that touch meant to me? And to have you perverted like that? Guess I was kidding myself. I mean, how replaceable was I? 2 minutes after I ended, you're dating the rebound guy from the Black Lagoon.
But if it's sassy men you're looking for, then I guess I don't have a better place to point you than Kid Flash.
You guess?
Though Wally and Artemis are living together and trying to leave the life behind, which also, thank you Wally West and Artemis Croc for giving 12-year-old Shane hope when he watched this, thank you again. They still have some of the most interesting stuff in the entire season, while we meet Wally again in a heartbreaking scene trying to get Roy to stop being a dirty, disgusting rat man, which wow, what a scene. Roy's self-hatred this season is both believable and moronic. I totally understand why this has almost totally transformed him into the trucker hat-wearing degenerate he is in the New 52, but I also want to smack him upside the head. Of course though, Green Arrow's ward nearly being a junkie also opens the door for the return of Cheshire, one of my favorite recurring villains from Season 1, and oh shit, I was talking about Kid Flash.
One of the biggest issues I've ran into talking about this season is that it is so naturally interwoven and connected, like some sort of natural quilt, that only talking about one character or one plot point is basically impossible.
The subplots in this season start from the most natural of places and only get more interesting as they just exist in this amazing universe full of moving parts. Like Aqualad, who is now teamed up with his father, Black Manta, but is also a double agent working for the team to expose the Light.
Already a great plot point, all well and good. More explicit spoilers coming from here on out.
But they just need one more of their closest friends to be in mortal danger at all times, so they sneak Artemis in under the guise of Aqualad having a new girl best friend.
I believe I have outgrown the name Aqualad.
Oh, okay then, Black Manta Jr. Well, only Calder, Wally, Dick, and Artemis know about the mission, which really lets him stretch his inner theater kid. But it also means that when Miss Martian comes face to face with Calderon, the traitor who murdered her best friend, she doesn't hold back. This doesn't just put Miss Martian and Calder out of commission for the better part of a few episodes. It doesn't just lead to some of the most pure scenes of tension in the entire series, but it leads to a confrontation between the entire Croc family, Black Manta, and his associates, paying off character dynamics that have been in play since the first season.
But what Young Justice does every season is expand the cast of characters massively, and what is even more impressive is that this season, they actually do it well.
The best episodes to demonstrate how genuinely fantastically Invasion pulls this off are episodes 15, War, and 17, The Hunt. Blue Beetle, aka Jaime Reyes, unless you're like 60 billion years old, is the centerpiece of the season in a lot of ways. Invasion sees the Reach, a hyper-advanced society of essentially galactic slave owners, come to Earth to lay their claim on it. But when you're on the petri dish of superpowers, you gotta lay low. While you kidnap superpowered children, make new coke, and go on Fox News. Alright, Jaime's scarab, which gives him his incredible suit of armor, is essentially the Trojan horse for the worst bugs in history. Bugs so awful that when news of Earth's new owners reaches out across the galaxy, it brings out the humanitarians of the cosmos for a mercy killing.
This is your attack force? I'm insulted.
Learn to cope.
War sees Mongol, pilot of the single-minded battle planet known as Warworld, come to Earth to put her down. Initially, we have a team led by Superboy Attack, and while they are successful in stopping Mongol, the keys for the most dangerous ride in the galaxy ends up solely in the Reach's hands, along with the heroes who laid him out. The only one uncaptured and scurrying around the vents of the war world is just one member of the incredible new freshman class this season brings in. Roy Harper original recipe, having lost 8 years of his life, his arm, and a lot of his mental stability, is a fucking treat to watch. From hunting Lex Luthor like a rabid animal to getting a douchebag buzz cut, this little freak does a lot of cool stuff, and he's like the 30th most important part of the season. That's the great thing about Invasion, and what's really made me appreciate it more and more as I've become more of a DC enjoyer, and not just a Batman watcher. Like, they even have their own version of Marvel's Hulu's The Runaways, and while usually I don't like the plucky team of orphan kids trope, I think I would like a lot more of them if they got adopted by Lex Luthor. Oh my god. Lex himself represents so much of what I love about this show, and he connects so many parts of it in a very natural way. Like when he sends his vigilante team to Warworld to shake control of it from the Reach. This not only gives us several more great action scenes, but it brings Arsenal into the fold with the Runaways, which is just what I'm calling them now. And I mean, Arsenal and Lex are my one true pairing of absolute haters.
2 guards, 1 door hack, and we're home free. What?
Wait for it.
You blew the lab? But this was a covert op! What were you thinking?
I enjoy making Lex miserable.
This season, which I can't believe that I used to not like very much, is such a monument to the great things you can do in an interconnected DC universe, and it has been so hard to not just make this video things I like from the season. So that's what I'm gonna do now.
But to keep things a little more balanced, we're gonna intersperse these with some of the very few things I do not like about this season. The return of villains like Simon, Icicle Jr., and Mammoth are exciting, but I'm glad we've graduated to more legitimate threats in the DC universe. Mal is the most nothing character in the series at best, and at worst, all he does is drag down his girlfriend, who I actually like. Miss Martian and Beast Boy have an incredibly sweet brother-sister dynamic, and also, him unconsciously changing back to his child form when he gets a PTSD attack from when his mother died that's too much. What? Why? Why would you do that to me? Ran and Adam Strange are not interesting enough on their own or together to be a good thing to put in the second episode. Oliver Queen, having to deal with the guilt of what's happened to his apprentices, basically his children, is only given a few minutes of screen time, but man, it is crushing. The first episode takes way too long to link us back up with returning characters who actually have interesting stuff going on.
Oh, I guess I just really don't like the first few episodes.
Young Justice Invasion is an incredibly well-written action series with some of the most realistic character drama I've ever seen in a DC show. While there are some flaws mainly focused around the opening of the season, as a DC fan, I can't help but love a series like this. A series that gives so much respect to its characters, even if they only show up for 1 or 2 episodes like Mongol, or you get someone like Jaime Reyes as Blue Beetle, Invasion is probably what I would call the definitive place to learn to love Blue outside of the comics. Like, even the Fox News anchor gets to be a hero. Literally too good to be true. There are bigger emotional moments that get more attention, but if I'm talking about a series that I love, I prefer to not just talk about the parts of it that I always hear talked about. Like when Kid Flash falls down that well.
I can't believe I am saying this, but I love Young Justice Season 2. It is such an amazing, quintessential piece of DC TV. I feel like I've said that a billion times. But what is quintessential is that if you love the world of Detective Comics, you need to do yourself a favor and check out this show. But that is the video this week, y'all. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching that video. If you made it to this point, a special double thank you very much. Let's see, a few things. I've got a new microphone here. Might hear some wire bumps there as I set it back down, so sorry for that. But yeah, that was a Christmas present for my parents. Thank you very much. It's very nice. It was a present from my parents. You can hear those P's so well. But what I have to show off for my collection this week is going to be a return of Girlfriend Gift Time from other holidays and like my birthday and stuff. First thing, we're going to start small. Got this little war-painted Sokka. Love him very much. I do not have an Avatar figure or nothing. And yeah, she saw that one, and he's a great gift. I love him very much. Thank you, girlfriend. I hope you guys liked that video. I love Young Justice Season 2, like, so much more than I used to. It is crazy. I think my favorite part of, like, this rewatch, probably Arsenal, honestly. I, like, really appreciated the Arsenal plot line. Like, I always liked it, but, like, I appreciated it a lot more this time. I think it's because I've become more of a Green Arrow fan, especially. But, yeah, I'm probably not going to cover Young Justice Season 3 for at least, like, 2 weeks. I am thinking of doing something Avatar-related next week, or maybe, like, a new series, maybe even. I kind of want to cover Soul Eater at some point. I was making sure that I was pointing the right way. But yeah, I'll catch y'all next time. Goodbye.